Hello friends and welcome to my YouTube channel. So today in this video we are going to fix some problems that we had in our last video. So let me play this. Now the first problem, you will notice that our enemy character is jumping very high. So and we do have other problems. So let me disable these jumps and play again. So now the second problem, you will notice that our enemy character is switching its direction continuously. So to fix that, so first let me tell you that why our enemy is stuck in left right direction. So this is because we have wrote our algorithm that if our character x position is less than our enemy's x position, so we need to move our enemy character towards left. Similarly, if character's x position is greater than enemy's x position, then our enemy should move towards right. So at this point our enemy is getting stuck because when he moves towards left, its position is going to be smaller, and our player character position is going to be greater, so he moved towards right. Same here, when he reaches at this point, its position is going to be become up greater than our player's position, so he moved towards left. So that's why he is stacking right here. So I have actually done, I have wrote the code. So I am going to copy this code and I will explain what I have done. Now, the very first thing you need to do is you need to create a function inside your Max script. So right above AI script, so as you will notice that I have removed this code from AI function and pasted it in a new function called left right decision. So the problem was, when our enemy character reaches this point, it is going to continuously make a decision whether to move left or right. So we changed it to make decision only when we hit our jump game object. So that's why he's not going to make decision here until he collides with jump object. So if at this that point we have a jump object, is going to jump and switch its direction towards right, so our enemy will reach our player right here. So just remove the code, this code, and paste it inside left right decision, and we have removed the check that we wrote in the previous video. If is grounded, we removed it and simply put it right here. Now the second thing we need to do is, in on trigger enter 2D and on trigger exit 2D, or just in on trigger enter 2D, we need to call this left right decision function. So just call this function right here. Now the problem we had, our and max character was jumping very high, So to fix that, inside your jump function, right below this code, you need to add these three lines. So we are just setting the y velocity of our player, max player, 0. So because max is a rigid body and rigid body have some velocity on y, so we are making sure that when we jump, before that our y velocity is always 0. So this will fix the high jumping problem. Now another thing that we need to do is, in the start function you need to make translation equals 1, because we removed this function, this code from AI. So now we are only moving our character when we hit our jump object, and jump object is going to call this function. So by default we need some kind of movement for our player, so that's why I have set the translation towards 1. So now when we start our game, our max character is going to always move towards right, and when he hits any jump object, he is going to then make a decision whether to move left or right. Now that's it, I think. And I have done another thing. You will notice in the scene view I have added these two walls. So just go to create, and in 3D object, create cube. You can see, remove this box collider from it, and instead we want box collider 2D on it, and make sure that its is trigger property is true. And same, duplicate it and place one cube at this corner. Same here, add box collider 2D and make sure is trigger is true. And we need to make a function, a script called switch direction. So inside your uh, assets, create a script called switch direction. So what this will do, so we need to switch the direction of character when he hits this wall. So if our max is moving towards right, when he collides with this wall, we need to switch the direction so our max can move towards left. So now in our switch direction script, we need to define a function on trigger enter 2D, and in here we need to check if the object we are hitting is max. If it is max, we are going to get the reference from this collider object, and we need to get the component called max, because we need max script reference to call the switch direction function. So we need to also define this switch direction function in our max. So this is simply switching the direction. It is checking if the translation is 1, it means our max is moving towards right. We need to set the translation to -1 so it can move towards left. So if translation is already -1, means our enemy is already moving towards left. We need to then set it to 1 so it can move towards right. Now that's it for, and see if any and make sure to match your script with this code. I will put the link of this code in the description of this video. You can download it from there. Now go back and we are going to enable our jump objects and play the game. So now you can see that we can reach our player and the jumping problem is also solved. So the next thing we need to do is we need to create animation, death animation, because when our enemy collides with our player we need to play death animation on our kitty character. So to do that we are going to open this animator controller that we had on our kitty character. So open it inside animator, and you can pan in your animator window by holding the alt key and left mouse button. You can pan it, and same by pressing the alt and right mouse button you can zoom in and out in this window. So I don't have death animation right now, so I'm going to quickly create a death animation. So I'm going to create a new animation and I will call it kitty death. So you may have this animation because I lost my project and I have to create it again, so that's why I am missing some things here. So if you have this animation in your assets, simply drag it. Now on that we are going to select all these death sprites and drag it right here. It's very fast, so we need to change it to 20, I guess. That's fine. Now save it. Now inside animator you will have this kitty death animation. So we want to transition to this death animation from any state. So no matter if our character is running or in idle condition, whenever our enemy collides with our character we need to play the death animation. So that's why choosing we are making a transition from any state to death. Now we need some kind of condition when to play this death animation. So for that I am going to create a new float variable called death, and in by selecting this transition add a new condition and select death. Think we need to create a boolean parameter, boolean death. So in the condition select death and set it to true. So whenever our death is true we are going to transition in death animation. And also make sure that loop time is unchecked, so we don't want to loop We only want to play this animation one. So now select it, and now we want to trigger this death. So in our kitty script, we are going to create a function called void on collision enter 2D, and it's going to take a collision object as a parameter. And here, so now we will check if call dot game object dot tag equals max. So if we are colliding with max, or max is colliding with our character, we need to set the death animation. So we will simply say anim dot set bool, because is a boolean variable, and death, and set it to true. Also we need another boolean variable. Simply say bool is dead equals false. So by default our enemy will alive, so it's not dead, so that's why we are setting it to false. Now why we are creating this boolean? This is because after the death animation we will still be able to move our kitty character left and right by using arrow keys. So we don't want to move it if is dead is true. So we are going to set this is dead to true right here. Is dead equals true. Now in our fixed update, we will simply say if is dead return, because all the movement and everything is done here, so we don't want to execute any of this. We just simply return from this function. So our max is stuck here. Let me see what's causing. I think we have some issue with our collider. So let me fix it. So our Death is not working. Why? So it's saying that we are using the parameter death which is not compatible. So why is it not? So this idle animation is also playing. So I think, so I don't know what is causing this behavior. Let me see. So we have our tag and it should work, but it's not working. So I think restarting the Unity will fix this, and if not, I will fix this problem in the next video. So I will put the link of the code in the description of this video. You can download it from there.